Welcome back to another conference tournament prediction video. Today we are taking a look at the Mountain West, and this conference is always fun because it feels like this conference always has the most bubble teams, and this year is arguably no different. I mean, there is San Diego State, Boise State, Colorado State, all kind of on the bubble right now. New Mexico looks like they're in. Utah State is also looking like they're in, but I feel like they could get into that bubble territory, but I think they should be fine. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about in this one. Real quick before we make our predictions, though, make sure you check out our previous videos we've done. Earlier today we did the Atlantic 10. Yesterday we did the ACC Big 12, as well as plenty of the mid-major conferences. We have I believe almost around 20 out right now. We're doing all 31, so stay tuned for the rest of this week. And later today we got some huge videos as well. So subscribe also to make sure you don't miss any of that. Now, first matchup in the 8-9 game, San Jose State versus Wyoming. Both these teams, nothing really too special. I'll take San Jose State. They're a bit higher in Torvik. They're about 25 spots ahead. Wyoming's just outside the top 150 in defense. San Jose State just inside the top 150 in offense. So a pretty even matchup there. And then defensively for San Jose State, kind of the same thing when you're looking at Wyoming's offense. Both these teams have been struggling as of recently. They've both, just not been playing great. San Jose State, though, did sweep Wyoming in the season series, and I think Wyoming's been playing worse recently. They're 12-19 on the season. I don't know. I like San Jose State to get through. Then in the 7-10, I'm going to be honest, the two bottom teams in this conference are really, really bad, so I like Nevada over Fresno. I mean, Fresno is just 257 overall. They're behind Presbyterian. They're 6-25. I know they're in a better conference, so that kind of gets boosted up. And they play at a pretty fast pace for being such a bad team. And then Air Force is even worse. I mean, they're almost outside of the top 300 in Torvik. That is horrible. They're behind teams like St. Peter's, who didn't even qualify for the MAAC tournament. I mean, what are we doing? Air Force has 4 wins on the season. They don't even have a top 300 offense. They do shoot a lot of threes. They don't shoot very well percentage-wise, but they shoot a lot of them. So maybe, but UNLV, I believe, is hosting this tournament once again. I don't think they lose to Air Force. Now we get into some interesting matchups, and starting off 1-8. This one, I hate to break to you, this one's not one of the interesting ones. I think New Mexico takes care of business in the first round. They're the highest-ranked team in Torvik. I believe they're also the highest-ranked team in KenPom, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, just barely. Torvik is a little bit more space, but, really close. A lot of these teams in the Mountain West are very close. New Mexico, though, is 4th in tempo in this conference. I think that's very interesting. They have a top 20 defense in the country, and, offensively, 80th. Not horrible, but defensively is definitely their strong suit. I think they get past San Jose State pretty easy. The 4-5 game, now this game is very intriguing because both these teams are bubble teams. Both these teams are desperately in need of a win. I think this is essentially a play-in game. Whoever wins this will get in. Whoever loses, in my eyes, is probably out unless we see some chaos. Same thing with the winner, but I think this is pretty much a play-in game. This is a must-watch game. San Diego State versus Boise State. You look at the matchup. Boise State is actually ahead of them in Torvik by a pretty decent amount. They're 10 spots ahead. They're a pretty complete team as well. They're 44th in offensive efficiency, 52nd in defense at Torvik. They're a slow-paced team, but just a very well-rounded, complete team. They've been playing their best basketball as of recently. They're 22-9. San Diego State 21-8. They not as much well-rounded, but they have a very strong defense. 15th. They're ranked 15th in defensive efficiency on Torvik. They're ranked 12th on KenPom. They're actually ahead of Boise State on KenPom by 6 spots. This is a really tough matchup. Both these teams are playing really good as of recently, and both of them are playing for their tournament lives, essentially. I think what the difference maker is, one, who do I trust more? I trust San Diego State more. I trust, coaching-wise, all that. That's what it comes down to. And I know maybe metric-wise, Boise State might have the advantage, but San Diego State, keep in mind, earlier this season beat UC San Diego, beat Creighton, beat Houston, close loss with Gonzaga, close loss with Oregon, and recently they've been picking up some pretty good wins. Also, they swept Boise State in the season series. Nick Boyd's a really good player for them. I like San Diego State. Again, you could argue Boise State is hotter right now and playing better, and maybe matchup wise they have the advantage, but this just comes down to me trusting San Diego State more. And who do I trust? If a must win scenario, I trust San Diego State a little bit more. In the 2-7, Colorado State versus Nevada. If this were like Utah State, I feel like I could consider this one. Nevada's actually not a terrible team. Um, they have a really good turnover margin. And they're a solid, well-rounded team. But against Colorado State, they're too hot right now. I gotta go with the Rams. The 3-6 matchup. It's always tough with UNLV because last season they hosted it. This season's no different. They're hosting it again, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So it's always tough, picking their games. UNLV isn't a horrible team. They have almost a top 50 defense, but they really don't shoot well from three, and they don't shoot a lot for my liking. That doesn't sound like a good recipe for success against Utah State, who has a top 15 offense in the country, and is, a very strong offensive team. They have a great turnover margin. Their three-point defense does suck, but it really doesn't matter in this matchup against UNLV. I like Utah State to get through. Again, just that offensive prowess that they have and have had all season. Now defensively, I worry about their ceiling, but offensively, I like Utah State here. They're 25-6. They've had a very good season, and with that win, they probably will secure their bid. They may have already secured their bid, but I would argue there's maybe a small chance, but probably already in, even with the loss there. But I think they secure it. So a little chalky here. We haven't picked an upset yet. New Mexico versus San Diego State. This is again similar thing with the Boise State thing. New Mexico is a great team. They've been the best team in this conference. They play at a very fast pace. They have a top 20 defense. I'll mention though, San Diego State's defense does rank ahead of it. And San Diego State, I think, both these teams have very strong defenses. I can't imagine it's a fast-paced game. Maybe just because New Mexico is the fourth fastest team, maybe they get going. But I feel like a lot of that is turnovers. And San Diego State doesn't turn the ball over. They know how to play come this time. Again, it just comes down to trust. And, I trust them. Trust them a whole lot. They defend the three pretty well. 3-point percentage defense-wise, they're in the top 25. New Mexico doesn't really shoot a lot anyway, but maybe in the crunch time when they need a shot, I don't know if they can do that. And again, a lot of their fast-paced orientation comes from their turnover differential. And again, San Diego State is really good at protecting the ball. In a defensive matchup, San Diego State has the better defense. I like San Diego State to really secure their bid with that win. Moving on to the championship game. And then Colorado State versus Utah State. Two teams that I think are very solid. Colorado State, though, recently, man, they've kind of come out of nowhere. Am I wrong about that? I know they've been super hot. They've won, 7 in a row? They just beat Utah State by almost 30 points. It's been ridiculous how good they've been playing. They got a guy averaging 18 points a game, Clifford. He's a really good guard for them. I just can't go against the way Colorado State's playing right now. I think they're overall the more well-rounded team, more complete team. They're only 4 spots behind them in Torvik, but 41st in offense, 65th in defense. I'll honestly take that over 14th in offense and 144th in defense. Utah State struggles with defending the three. Colorado State can shoot the three a bit. They're a pretty good three-point team, and they can also get in the paint as well. Utah State also struggles defensively in the paint. Just defensive struggles here that I don't really like. I'll take Colorado State to the championship game, and that sets up a San Diego State versus Colorado State game. Colorado State did win the most recent matchup, but they split the regular season series. This would be a fun one, the 4 versus 2. But I gotta go with the hottest team. I think they're the most well-rounded team. Maybe you could argue Boise State's more well-rounded, but honestly, man, out of the 4 I have moving on to the semifinals, I think they're the most well-rounded team. I think they're playing the best right now. Like I said, 7-game win streak. They've beat some pretty good teams in there as well. At Boise State's a great win. They beat Utah State by 30. Before this little streak, they also have a win over San Diego State. I think Colorado State it could be another bid stealer team. Now the question is, if they get here, will they get an at-large bid? I'm really not sure. I think they might actually have to win this conference, surprisingly, because Utah State is probably in already. San Diego State and Boise State both just need to beat each other to get in. Colorado State as the 2 seed might need to win this whole conference to get in, which I think is interesting, but I think they do it. I think they're playing the best. They're super hot, one of the hottest teams in the country. And yeah, I just think they're the most complete team here. I'm going to take Colorado State to continue their hot streak into the tournament and win this whole thing. But let me know who you got in the conference championship game. Do you got Colorado State winning? Do you got somebody else? Let me know down there. Love to talk down there. Like this video if you made it this far. Check out our most recent videos popping up on the screen. Check out all of the previous mid-major conferences. You can see how we did because some of them have already ended. You can see our ACC, Big 12, A10, and then stay tuned because later today we're going to continue with the big conferences, and then as well as Wednesday we're going to have in the next couple days we'll have all 31 out. So yeah, very exciting time. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Turn on the noties to make sure you don't miss whenever we upload. But that is going to do it. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.